on to things like this now. So this is luxurious.
Wash kit. So you've got to brush your teeth, break your toothbrush to keep the weight down. It was really short, a little bit of soap.
Yep.
But some of the places we stayed were very, very basic, weren't they? And some of them were less basic. So actually were really nice. Yep. So you do need to take the kit with you to make sure that you wash and freshen up.
Yeah.
I didn't have a change of clothes at all, so you need to be cleaning up and make yourself feel good in the evenings.
Yeah, and then you've got
Noons tablets, which I put one in every 750 millimeter bottle, and they help not freeze quite so quickly as well. But hydration is important.
Dressings. Did you take your feet?
So I preventatively take my feet every morning fresh. So I strip off it every night and then retake every morning. So make sure you've got a really good pair of scissors. I just use a little pen knife, the Swiss pen knife. Really great pair of scissors on that. I think that's all you need, and just really get good at taping your feet. And the number one message is make sure you cut your toenails. Cut them short 6 months before a race and get them right back, because that is, on endurance racing, is always the big thing.
Yeah, and Archie, who we did the video with for Jungle, actually got a lot of foot taking tips from you and gave us some great tips on how to get extra adhesion and stuff through some of the things there. So, and then also you've got Darylite, Modium.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure you get yourself covered there. You can get ill and you'd hate it to spoil your race. You just need to plug yourself up and it gets...
Those probably saved you in the jungle, right?
Yeah, in the jungle I really struggled, so those were really useful for me.
Okay, so let's move to... this is medical kit now. So you've got all your compulsory medical items in there. Was there anything that you think stood out of how you saved weight?
No, I just, with the non-essential stuff that you just put on the list, I make sure I take it as light as I possibly can, but tape for me is the big thing. So tape, I take TCP in case I get infections. I do blister easily, so I nearly 100% tape my feet. And I'm good at it, I'm quick at it, because it saves my life in these races. So.
Okay, investing the time pre-race is going to be a great thing. Then food. So what did you take per day? Calories?
So food, normally in a sort of a desert in the jungle, I was 2,000 calories a day. The big difference with this race is you are starving for the whole race. You are absolutely starving. And the jungle and the desert, you're not. In fact, you have to force yourself to eat. Whereas, that's my experience. Whereas this, I just did not have enough food, and I really felt that. So make sure you take enough. I took noodles, which was the first time I'd ever used those. That was a tip from Archie, Indonesian noodles. And I, for the first time ever, because we were out on from start to finish each day, I was out for probably twice as long as I would normally anticipate being out, because the conditions were so slow. I actually stopped and ate some noodles. And I gave myself 6 minutes to do that. The hot water was on, I could warm the noodles up, and that was like rocket fuel for me. I could really gain those last two stages of any day.
At the checkpoints, you're guaranteed warm water or above cold water, because obviously we need to keep it from freezing, but we don't guarantee at every single checkpoint boiling hot water, even though we try and get at least a couple of flasks of it every checkpoint. So when you're asking if you can eat at checkpoints, the best strategy is to just plan for the day ahead of that you can eat on the go, but you're not going to get the time or things to eat a full meal at a checkpoint. However, sometimes, especially in the longer days, we might put the hot water in there to do it, because they are long days.
They really are long days,
Okay, so let's move on to kit then now. Let's start with shoes, and we'll go footwear in total. So I know a couple of the guys had seal skins and swore by them. Did you?
No, I didn't. My feet sweat too much, even if they're cold. So so I just used the normal Injinjis on top of my tape feet, and then a thick pair of socks on top of that. I was wearing about a size bigger than I would normally wear. And I used quite a sturdy shoe as well. So I used the Rock Lights. They gave me good grip. I could have probably gone for the claws, but I needed a sturdy shoe because I knew I was going to be in snowshoes for some part of it. I wasn't expecting to be in all but the first 10k we did in the snowshoes. So, and they're quite hard on your footwear. You don't really want to have a minimal shoe, in my opinion, if you've got the snowshoe on.
So terrain-wise, for that, when you're looking at the terrain that you're going to be running on, we make the tracks with snow bikes, and then there's a dip, groove in the snow. Either side of that track, there's a good drop, and you'll be up to your waist in snow. If it doesn't, we're relying on ideal conditions for that trail to freeze. Realistically, it's probably never really going to happen to a point where you'll be predominantly in shoe. You're mainly going to be in snowshoes, and that's probably the best way to kind of prepare yourself. So, yeah, the first 10k is on road, and you'll probably be able to get away with training. For the rest of them, they need to accommodate the fact that they're going to be in snowshoes for majority of the time.
So I also use the really lightweight gaiter as well, because the snow, your foot's slipping in the snow and you don't want snow inside your shoe. One, because it might melt, your feet might get wet, but the other thing is that it gives you a high spot in your shoe and it can cause blistering and problems there. So that gaiter is absolutely essential, and the nice thing about the Innovates is they have a built-in clipping system and things, and I think these are just a few grams, 20 grams or something like that. They do the job perfectly.
Great. And then if you're worried about snowshoe usage, yes, it does pay to spend some time training them. You can do it on beaches and sand and soft grounds. I know a couple of the runners got a few hours in, but nothing major for this race, and they survived and managed. We've got some interesting data that Shane Benton took on our guys this year, including Austin in the snowshoes, and we'll do a whole separate conversation on that. But what I would say is, yes, they do require a lot more energy to use, but if you weren't with them and you was trying to battle through them in them, or had the idea of, I won't put them, I'll use them, you're going to waste a lot of energy. You are better off in these. And also what we did find is the bigger guys who had the bigger snowshoes tended to go across ground a lot easier, and where the guys who had the smallest snowshoes struggled a bit unless they were light. So there seems to be some kind of correlation. If you're bigger, the bigger the snowshoe should be. If you're light, then you can afford to lighten up on a snowshoe.
This light shoe, I mean, this is a kilo, I think, is the lot. They're really light. You can run in them just, so I was working on, I would run downhill wherever I could, or if the ground became a little bit solid, then I would run. But otherwise, they were difficult to run in. You're in for a big march when you've got those.
And you attach them to your backpack.
But we rarely did that, I just took them into the side pockets, but that was only for the first 10k.